Well, already running late because I had to film all the B-roll and stuff for this video. But these days in the life, they're not easy. But I did want to at least give the impression that I go to the gym and show off that vanity metric checklist. You know, show you guys that I'm really actually healthy. I'm not faking it. There's 4 things that are essential to me for every workout: my iPhone, my AirPods, my Apple Watch, and water. Without those things, I'd be dead. Well, one of those things is technically more important than the others, but I'll let you guess which one that is. During my workouts, I usually listen to some songs on Apple Music, or if I'm on an elliptical machine like this, sometimes I'll even scroll through TikTok or watch a video on YouTube. Okay, even just a quick 15 minutes on the elliptical. I know people say elliptical's easy, but you got 15 minutes, just crank up that incline, crank up the resistance, low impact. You'll burn a lot of calories in a short amount of time. You'll sweat. If you're sweating and you're breathing hard during cardio, you know it's working, even though the elliptical is kind of easy. And yeah, you know, we got a jump start on our rings, which is always good. I feel like if I don't get that jump start on my rings in the morning, a lot of the times I will not close them. So I like to get in a morning workout, even if it's just a short 15 minutes. It's usually enough to jumpstart my day and make sure that I finish strong. I was gonna say something else, but we'll go with something cheesy instead. All right, let's get the hell out of here.
You know, I'm exaggerating for effect, but you do change your voice a little bit.
After getting back home, it's time for a quick shower. Usually when I shower, I like to put on a podcast I can listen to, and I usually play them on my iPhone 16 Pro Max's speaker. Also, no, you don't get to watch me shower. Sorry to disappoint you. So I want to get some work done at my studio. I have a video to finish editing, and I plan to upload it today, so let's drive over there.
Woke up this morning, got some gabagoo.
I have never really done a studio tour before because honestly, as cool as the rest of this place looks, the room I rent out is pretty small. So I don't think people would really be interested in a tour, but I am at the same time proud of my studio because it's always been a dream of mine to have my own space, and I'm still very happy even though it is a small space. Like I mentioned before, I have some work I need to get done, so it's time to lock in. So I set my iPhone 16 Pro Max aside for now and use my 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is connected to a studio display, and I open up Final Cut Pro, my video editing software of choice, to go over the final edit for today's video. Now, I would love to say I'm a focused person, but I do need to take a lot of breaks when I'm working, and I usually like to watch a few YouTube videos on my iPhone during editing sessions, and I like to get away from my desk because that's where I work, so I feel like I can't really relax when I'm sitting at my desk. All right, just finishing up the Series 10 vs Ultra 2 export. That's gonna be up later today. Well, if you're watching this video, that was a few days ago. I mean, we're recording this right now, so, you know, listen, you don't have to go back and watch this old video. You're already watching this video. That's enough of Greg for one day, I think. And, you know, it's a big time commitment watching these videos, right? Like, we live in a modern era. People have very short attention spans. So the fact that people watch a 10-minute video from me, sometimes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm constantly aware that people will choose to spend their precious time watching one of my videos, and I still can't wrap my head around that sometimes, even after doing YouTube for as long as I've been doing it at this point. Yeah, just thank you guys so much. Hey, listen, I don't want to thank you too much. If you're watching this right now, like the video, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 400,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Probably not going to happen, but hey, you shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. I always like that saying. But it is getting late here. We got to rush out soon, catch the train. We're going to the Golden Diner, great pancakes, but you got to line up before 10. Otherwise, you're probably not getting in. It's a very popular establishment. I mean, we could stay here all day in the studio and work all day. That's probably more of a typical day in the life of Greg's Gadgets. But you know what? I want to give you the idealized, glamorous version of a day in the life of Greg's Gadgets. I want to portray myself as a hip and happening guy that does things. And, you know, I think that's a little more exciting than being cooped up here all day. So that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna see what Greg's Gadgets does for fun, I guess. Probably just a lot of eating and walking and taking photos, using the iPhone, all that fun stuff. And by the way, you don't have to call me Greg's Gadgets when you see me out in the street. You could just call me Greg. The channel name, it's a little corny. I got to be honest with you. Maybe I didn't think it through all the way, but hey, it's legacy at this point. So we're sticking with Greg's Gadgets to the end. When the end comes, who knows? Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be 30 years from now. And then I'll be, how old will I be? Not a day over 50, right, guys? It's about a 20-minute ride from here, so of course I pass the time scrolling through Twitter and checking some emails on my iPhone 16 Pro Max and messaging my friend Megan to make sure she's on time because we plan to grab breakfast together.
I was making weird faces. I was making the faces I was thinking.
Yeah, Greg, everything's about you.
Everything is about me. I'm the star of this channel.
Yes, he's right.
After failing to fake a cordial meetup, we need to rush to the Golden Diner to make sure we can get a seat. Again, I'm really bad at directions, so I take out my iPhone 16 Pro for walking directions. It's about a 20-minute walk from the station, so we should arrive just in time. After a quick walk, we arrive at our destination and find a small line is already forming, so it's a good thing we got here with about 10 minutes to spare. I don't know about you, but I hate lines and waiting for things. The anticipation of waiting for something starts to mix with my anxiety, and it's just a recipe for feeling super uneasy. So usually I'm pretty quiet and retreat to using my phone to distract myself. Quickly check the weather for the rest of today, then I catch up on Twitter, and after reading through a few posts, I remember that I still have to publish that video that I uploaded earlier today. I was so busy with filming the day in the life, and I ran out of the studio so fast, I forgot to add tags to this video, so I enter the tags and fill in the description, double checking all the details right before I hit publish. After I hit publish, I go right to the comments section to respond to the first few comments like I usually do on every video. Seeing all these comments and realizing real people watch my videos makes it all worth it. I know that sounds very cliche, but it is true. So if you're watching this right now, leave a comment and I'll do my best to respond. The diner is really small and, as you can clearly see, packed with people even just a few minutes after opening. We place our orders. I start with a coffee, and we put orders in for a chicken katsu club, an omelet, and the reason you have to come here if you're in New York City, the honey butter pancakes. I mean, just look at that. Even on video, while I'm editing this right now, I grabbed my iPhone 16 Pro, just grabbed the microphone and started recording this. Look at that thing. It's so tasty. I just want to take a bite out of the screen. It looks so freaking good. 10 out of 10 would recommend. After a very satisfying breakfast, I take some time catching up on a few more comments on the YouTube Studio iPhone app, responding to and hearting some of my favorites. Again, thank you guys for all the love on that video. It did so well.
That means last time you were giving the wrong silverware to yourself.
I did 5. Now, the itinerary for the rest of the day is pretty easy. We're just going to do some shopping at a local underground mall around here, and then we're actually going to go to a card shop afterwards. Settle for use K or Genkai?
I hope you get your girl.
No, I went to Subaru. Got Genkai. Young Genkai.
I did it. I got Genkai.
I did it. Got Genkai. I got Genkai. I got Genkai. Here's some life advice. As a general rule, if you see a dog in a card shop, you gotta go in.
I was never big into cards.
Good luck, guys.
That's my bag.
There he is.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, damn.
Where's Kuwabara?
Where's cool? Oh! Legendary pool! Legendary pool!
Oh my God.
There's still
Legendary
cards.
pool. Look at that. I don't care.
I don't care.
Yes!
How? Why?
Kuwabara, we're eating good tonight. After some insane card pulls, I gotta find a cafe so I can check some emails. And while I didn't want to do too much work in this day in the life because I feel like that's pretty boring, I feel like people also want to see kind of like an accurate day of what I am doing in a day in the life. So I did bring my laptop to finish some work at a cafe, which is something that I do pretty frequently. After finding a cafe with a actually really nice view of just the street looking down, it's really cool sitting here, I started doing some work on my laptop. And one of the things I love about the new iOS 18 with my iPhone 16 Pro Max is that I can just mirror the display directly to my laptop. So I can just keep my phone down and just get to work on my laptop, and then I can check all my notifications. I can go through apps if I have to. There's no Instagram app on the Mac, so I could just scroll through Instagram directly on the mirrored view on the iPhone, and it works really, really well. Also, my iPhone is essential for traveling and working on the go because, number one, I don't really trust a lot of the local Wi-Fi spots, just, in case someone's trying to steal your data or anything like that. And also, a lot of places still don't have them in the year of 2024, or they're locked by an annoying password. So usually when I'm working on my laptop, I am hotspotting. Apple, you should release a cellular Mac at this point. I don't know why you haven't, but anyway, you got a hotspot. After finishing a coffee, catching up on some work emails, going through some contracts, all the things I would usually do on a typical day of working, all the boring administrative stuff I have to do that doesn't involve video editing for this channel, it's time to leave. And you know what? Now we're gonna go do some fun shopping at the new GU store in New York City. On the way to this destination though, we are walking, and I decided to snap a few photos because that's one of the things I also love about the iPhone 16 Pro Max is the camera system. It is just so versatile and so good at this point that I really feel like I'm not missing out on any major tools. I love the 1x lens, the ultra wide angle lens, and that 5x telephoto lens, since the 15 Pro Max has been key to getting some really nice shots. We eventually reach our destination at GU, and I take some time to browse through some clothes. Specifically, there is a Ghost in the Shell collaboration for a bunch of t-shirts that I want to check out.
Android group chats, I have them too.
After being on my feet for a while now and shopping through a few stores, I decide to take a small break because my friends are still finishing up their shopping. And they're taking a bit longer than expected, so I play some Pokemon Crystal on my iPhone. One of the recent additions software-wise to the iPhone has been the ability to play emulated games. It has been such a fun feature to use, and I love kicking back and relaxing with some of my favorite old school classics. After a bit of relaxation, it's time to catch another train and move on to Japan Village, which is a little bit more remote than this part of the city. It's a good place to kick back, unwind, and have a little snack. What I really like this year about the iPhone 16 Pro lineup is just how versatile it is. And listen, we've had good cameras for a couple of years now, but with the 15 Pro, we got log footage, we got 4K 120 frames per second now on the 16 Pro, which again increases the versatility of what you can do with the system. And then you also just have the better microphones and the software that come on the 16 Pro, which we're using now. But then there's other ways those microphones, I think, are pretty good. For this whole video, anytime you've been hearing a voiceover that's been off screen has been recorded on the iPhone 16 Pro's microphone. So if I go over into here, even just opening up voice memos or something like that, and then just holding it like this, and then using the microphone like that, because sometimes the audio is not going to be all that great, even still coming from that camera, even with all these new software modes. Sometimes I think they still sound a little too processed or, kind of artificial. But with this, listen to how rich and natural this sounds. That's what I love about the 16 Pro. These microphones, maybe they're not great for a busy shoot with a ton of noise around you, especially when you're using that processing, but flip it around, do a little talking segment like this, you basically have a whole recording studio with you all the time, fits in your pocket. And that is what the 16 Pro for me improves over the 15 Pro. There's other things that are kind of nice, like the camera button. I'm still so mixed on it because it is an easy way to open the camera. When you're in a pinch and you're using it one-handed too, it is kind of a nice way to zoom. But on the Pro Max, especially the phone I'm using for this video, it always just feels a little awkward. Anytime I've been using the smaller phone, like the regular 16 or the 16 Pro, to use that camera button, that's when it feels a little more natural. But on the Pro Max, it just feels a little bit too awkward to kind of reach for it. And it feels like this year, Apple's not only giving you all the tools and all the specifications you need to get the best video quality possible or the best photos possible, but it's also giving you simple tools to get really good video, really good photos, and even really good audio without doing that much work. I think my favorite example of this is photographic styles. You can now just kind of pick a very specific style that you want for your iPhone photos. You can fine-tune them yourself and edit them, and then you can kind of get a consistent look going forward as long as you kind of use that style without going into like a photo editing app afterwards. You can really get a nailed down process here for your own personal taste, and it's so easy to do. Another thing I should say though is with battery life on this, I was having like really good days up until this point with battery life. I don't know if it's because I was using Maps a lot or using the hotspot when I was working on my laptop, but right now we're at about 18% at around 6 o'clock. And, I guess it's been about 12 hours off the charger. So I guess, it's not too bad. I'm assuming maybe 18% on this bigger battery will last longer than 18% than I'm used to on like my 15 Pro Max. But I'm still kind of hesitant, like, oh, will this make it through a full day? And at least in terms of how I feel about battery life, out of all the days I've been testing the iPhone 16 Pro Max, this one definitely feels the worst. And yeah, not sponsored, but Asahi Dry Zero. This is the best stuff on earth. 0 calories, 0 alcohol. And you might say, well, don't you want alcohol? No, you don't. You gotta stay young and youthful. You can't waste your life drinking alcohol. So stick with the 0 stuff, 0 calories, 0 alcohol. I don't know what the last 0 is, but zeros are good in my opinion. 0 is my favorite number. That is a crisp and refreshing beverage. So live the 0 life. Finishing out the night, it's time for some dinner. So we walked to a spot to grab some Peking duck, and we've been talking about doing this for the past few weeks, and I didn't know what I was walking into because this wasn't just a small dinner, it was a full-on feast of food with soup, appetizers, and a crispy duck. A full-on succulent Chinese meal.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
After an amazing dinner, it's time to complete an age-old tradition. But first, a few more night shots to test out the iPhone 16 Pro Max's camera. Well, if you made it this far into the video, it's the end. And like any good ending, there's a story. This is my friend Megan. You might have seen her earlier in the video. Every time we hang out together, we always have to have ice cream. So that's a little bit of Greg lore. Always have to have ice cream during the hangout. Gonna just eat this Pondon ice cream after our succulent duck. Amazing duck. Amazing ice cream. And what can I say? A day in the life with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, an amazing phone. Still hanging on, so we're still good. Thank you all for watching. Have a nice life.
Someone dying?
I think it's up here. I'm like, all right. Okay.
Like and subscribe.